Well, hello there. This is the Shawn1113 podcast show for June 15th, 2026. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, wherever you may be, whatever platform you're listening to, anywhere and everywhere in the world. A lot of things are going on as usual, even when the NBA and NHL seasons have ended. And with that, we're going to get those starts coming in right here and right now. And if you love this content, please put a 5-star rating. Consider a 5-star rating. Hit the excuse me. Sorry, stop me some my throat. Anyway, anything you can do, like Shawn47k at gmail.com for business inquiries, and and consider a 5-star rating as well on whatever platform you're listening to. With that, let's go with this episode. And by the way, as a reminder, if you didn't listen to the last episode, I will be taking a summer break after the U.S. Open Golf Championships, even though we have Wimbledon and all that stuff. So we pretty much now have space for actually, which is not a bad thing, really. In any event, congratulations to the New York Knicks who won the NBA championship and deservedly so. And to me, it's the savviness of the Knicks that won the NBA championship. Never giving up. The coaching staff making the necessary adjustments to especially in the second half to make those comebacks like it did. Especially that 29-point San Antonio lead, which makes me feel and then a 15-point and a 10-point plus lead in Game 5 to win the title. It was the savviness of the Knicks that won them this NBA championship, particularly Jalen Brunson. Um, I think Brunson is probably the face of the league at this point. Honestly, I don't see anybody else. Well, you can say Wimbiana, you can say a whole bunch of people, but well, SGA, yes, but I think you do have the face of the league um, in Jalen Brunson, in my opinion. And of course, you got to put a piece of it. If he wants to put a piece of that Finals MVP trophy, he should give it to OG Anunoby. Excuse me, who came up huge in spots, huge. And what Carl Anthony Towns at times when he wasn't fouling, Mitchell Robinson. It was a savviness of the New York Knicks that won them the NBA championship. And are they going to repeat? I don't know. We'll see. Now for the San Antonio Spurs, they're young, but I think at times they are very very soft. They have to be more defensive minded, in my opinion, in order to get to the next step. They took one step against Oklahoma City and knocked them off. But it's another excuse me, sorry about that, to beat the best teams in the NBA and do it during the playoffs when it's half court basketball. So is Wemby one of the faces? Yes. I think SGA, Jalen Brunson, and Wemby is now the face of the NBA and today's NBA now. When play, younger teams are not taking over that league. So, but a veteran savvy team like the Knicks, a savvy team like Oklahoma City, and a team like San Antonio, we're watching for pretty years to come. But I think Wemby is a little soft in some areas. So, and San Antonio, and it shows. San Antonio and the Spurs did, and it shows. But congratulations to the New York Knicks. Now let's go to the other side, like the Stanley Cup final. It was speed, and it was overwhelmed. It was too much for Vegas to overcome. Even when Vegas won that 5-4 game in overtime, you could see the momentum shifting from that point on. When Vegas had that 4-0 lead, then Carolina scores 4 goals in succession, forced overtime, and to me, even though Carolina lost that game in overtime, the momentum shift from that point on to having chip on and Carolina from the rest of the Stanley Cup Final 2026 was just too much for Carolina to overcome. Yes, there were injuries for Vegas, but it was too much Carolina, overwhelming them. Yes, overwhelming Vegas anywhere on the ice, and a well-deserved second Stanley Cup championship. Carolina, congratulations to Vegas for making it that far, but over, are they going to be the team to beat in 2026? Very well can be. So, congratulations to the Carolina Panthers winning the Stanley Cup, and congratulations to the New York Knicks as well again for winning the NBA championship. It's the speed of Carolina that overwhelmed Vegas, and it was the savviness of the Knicks to never give up. They would give themselves up against San Antonio that won them the NBA championship. So that's my opinion about that. U.S. Open golf coming up. I think it's a very wide open U.S. Open. I really do. U.S. Open Golf Championship. I really do. Who's Scotty Scheffler will be there. Can he finally win the U.S. Open? Um, there's so Scheffler. There's a whole plethora of golfers that can win that U.S. Open championship that come from nowhere. I'm looking forward to it. Father's Day weekend again. All the fathers out there, happy Father's Day to all the fathers, stepfathers, uncles, you know, brothers, grandfathers, step grandfathers, what have you. So happy Father's Day to each and every one of you gentlemen out there. And with adopted fathers, foster fathers, what have you. And with that, you know, Wilmington coming up pretty soon. It's Alcatraz coming back from injury. Well, if Alcatraz come back from injury, doesn't withdraw like the French Open, he will be the prohibitive favorite in the men's. In the women's, it's a wild card. It really is a wild card um, right now. So I'm not going to pick a winner for Wilmington when it occurs. Wilmington tennis when it occurs. Meanwhile, there is baseball, however. The College World Series has been really good. I've enjoyed some of it. For that, I'm going to talk about UFC as well. Um, it's been really fun. Right now, they just started Friday. North Carolina is already in at this bracket. So more things are going to happen there. So we'll see what happens. I can't wait for the college baseball. Also UFC. Before we go to the MLB though, I got to tell you about UFC. What a spectacle! What a spectacle! I have seen the highlights of this event all over the place, and the fighting was great. The everything like the bald eagle. Coolest thing about this one was the bald eagle flying. That was pretty cool. I mean, how can it not be? The White House. I didn't know the White House was huge. I knew it was huge. I didn't know it was that huge. Huge, and more than enough to stage any event, any sporting event, like a UFC event, anywhere. And I got to tell you, I would not be surprised if it happens again in the near future. This White House event. Now there was some controversy. You can read that for yourself concerning UFC, but it was quite a spectacle, a patriotic spectacle, and it was something. It's something. It was something to watch. As even as I was seeing the highlights, the fights were good. I mean, you can't ask for anything more if you're an M&A fan, or a UFC fan for that matter. So, in that my opinion, UFC Freedom 250 was a rousing success. Rousing success. So I can't doubt that whatsoever, one way or the other. Now, Major League Baseball standings. Right now, currently, Yankees are taking the league. Besides, in spite of the fact Aaron Judge is missing, Rays won a game. Blue Jays have finally caught up. Um, Long way to go. We're almost at the midway mark in the MLB 2026 season. AL Central, White Sox, and Cleveland. The surprise of the year is Chicago White Sox, in my opinion. The American League West, it looked like Seattle has a kind of a steady lead. Athletics, Rangers, Astros, nobody's out of it. Looking for now. Let's look at the National League. Braves have a help. It was 10, and now it's coming down to 8. Um, Phillies are rallying though. Nationals are not out of it. Or the Marlins, opinion, they're playing some good baseball right now. We're 8-2. Central, Brewers lead a cut down to 5. Here comes the Cubs. It's a wide open race in the NL Central and in the NL West. Seems like the Dodgers come back to earth a little bit. Padres are coming. Padres are steady a little bit, but it's still a pretty decent 7-game margin over San Diego. So again, we'll have that. It's ongoing. Should be pretty soon. The All Star break pretty soon in July, so we'll see what happens there. Um, but in my opinion, a lot of sports. Right now, it's just baseball at the moment. Oh, wait a minute. Now, before I even get to that, the FIFA World Cup 2026. So far, just the rounds is just a feeling out process. USA being impressive over Paraguay. We'll see what happens there. A lot of teams were impressed. Who's supposed to win won, and the one team I got to keep an eye on. Um, and as I was looking at the scores, Netherlands and Japan had a pretty good game. Um, Scotland against Haiti, Brazil, Morocco, tied at 1. A little surprised. I thought Brazil would win that. Canada and Bosnia in a tie. South Korea is probably better than you think. I think Mexico is better than you think. And I think Australia maybe. But again, it's the early rounds, group stage, early rounds though. So we'll see what happens there. It's ongoing. So the FIFA World Cup, if you enjoy your world football slash soccer, enjoy that as well. Whatever sport you're listening, whatever sport you're watching, enjoy that as well. So with that, of course, coming up, college and NFL for us in the U.S. But of course, it's going to be, you know, wherever floats your boat. Honestly, with that, that is the Shawn1113 podcast show. I've already said enough anyway. This is the Shawn1113 podcast show for June 15, 2026. If you love this content, please consider a 5-star rating and email me at Shawn47k at gmail.com, Shawn47k at gmail.com for any inquiries or any commentary, or SpotifyCareers.com or Onyx, which I'm going to share with Onyx. And with that, thank you so much for listening to for this episode, for listening to this episode of Shawn Lemon 13 Cash Show. Stay encouraged no matter what. Live your life as normal as possible in an abnormal world and question everything and anything. Thank you so much. God bless you.